everyone. Welcome to the show. Jenny is with me today, and today we're going to be talking with Albert, aka PromoKing. We are going to learn about promo cards. Welcome to the show, Albert. It's really nice that
Hello, Albert.
Thank you very, very much to both of you. It's a pleasure and an honor, actually, to be invited here today.
Really glad. So, Jenny, would you like to start off?
Absolutely. I'm really excited to meet you. I have not heard of promo cards, and I have never met a king. So I am learning about promo cards, and I am meeting the promo king. So I am very excited to learn what you do, how you got involved with it, and how we can get involved with it.
Great. Well, I started collecting like all non-sport card collectors, sets and chase cards, and there weren't that many sketches back in the early 90s when I started. So I started collecting the regular cards, and before long, I had amassed, a lot of sets with a lot of the chase cards that were included. And it seemed that, if you had the wherewithal, the ability to buy them, you could find just about any chase card that you could want. But the space started to getting smaller and smaller, because obviously a lot of these sets were 100 cards plus all the chase cards, et cetera, et cetera. So one day I came across a promo card. And what it is, it's mostly, if you will, the generic term for it is the promo card. It's these manufacturers will prepare some pre-production cards to show the dealers, the collectors, what the cards are going to look like. So the reason for them is to decide whether or not they're going to buy them at all. The product, not the promo cards. The promo cards are free. So I started looking for these because I love a challenge, and they seem to be quite challenging to find. So the first set that I started looking for a promo card for is actually probably one of the most iconic promo cards that exists out there, and that is the Lion King SB1. Back in the early 1990s, the movie The Lion King came out. And it was rumored that there had been a specific promo card that was printed by Skybox that was distributed at the Super Bowl that year in January 1994. Well, I figured, okay, Super Bowl's got 70,000 seats. Probably they gave them out to everyone, but to my incredible surprise, no matter how hard I looked, and no matter how many venues I looked for these cards, I couldn't find even one.
Wow.
Then I realized and learned, because back in those days, there was no internet. And
how do we function without this? I don't know.
Nowadays, exactly. But back then, there was no internet, and it was all basically through anecdotal relations that we found out that, yes, they were given out at the Super Bowl, but the marketing was not so good, because if you're going to go to a sports venue where people are paying thousands of dollars to watch a game, and then you're going to include a comic card basically in your little goodie bag, most people just took them out and threw them away.
Yikes.
It took me 10 years literally to find one, and during those 10 years I learned a lot about promo cards.
That is fascinating. This is a side of it that I had not heard of before.
I know.
I do know about promo cards, but this is something I didn't know. So
they come in many different They come, for example, packaged with products. So if some people will buy, let's say, a posable figure, okay, an action figure, a Marvel figure, and in those figures would come a promo card, because you're not really buying the card itself because that was a freebie. You would
Right.
be buying the action figure. So they come in action figures, they come in food products. They're made by card manufacturers and given out prior to the release of the actual set. They also come in many magazines. And to me, the fascinating part of it is to learn the provenance of where these cards come from,
Right. Yeah.
whether they exist. There, other than a publication called the Promo Card Encyclopedia, which came out in 2008, the last version of it. But Todd Jordan, the maker of that magazine, is going to be producing an online one. But there's really very little information as to how many of these promo cards were actually made, and more importantly, how many still exist. So that to me is the real challenge of understanding and learning about all of these different promos that have been made and are still being found to this day. Promos literally from the 1990s are still being found today as having been made back then.
Is it
so you got your, oh, sorry.
No, one little question I had, is it at all possible that they used to have them in cereal boxes too, way back when?
Oh, absolutely, in cereal boxes.
Because I seem to remember I was a cereal
products.
kid, and I mean, they had all kinds of things in boxes back then, and the junk stuff that it was just sugar in colored form, and well, it still is, but it seems to me they'd have all kinds of things, and occasionally they'd have promo cards, but I didn't know that that's what it was at the time. So now I want to go find some of them.
Well, I know that's the thing. That's why I'm interested, because you see these things, and now I'm like, oh, I've seen things like that, and I didn't realize that was a promo card. You just think, oh, it's one of those little advertisement things, but I guess because you figure it's not something that you've been associated or you collect with, you don't really realize what it is and what it means to people. So that's really fascinating to me. But
so what happened is literally in between those 10 years, between, let's say, 1994 and 2004, just to give you a little idea, I said, okay, this isn't so bad. I was able to find 80% of all of my cards that had been dubbed promos by fellow collectors. And then things just stopped. I could not find, no matter what, the other 20%. So again, that challenge was amazing, because I kept digging and looking at different venues and talking to different people, sports card dealers that may have had non-sports cards in their collections. I'd go on vacations, and my wife would look at me funny whenever I would walk into a card shop and spend an hour, and they're asking for promo cards. And most people knew about sports. They had no idea about non-sports promo cards, and they run the gamut of just about any theme that you can think of. And that is why I love them, because I've learned so much. In addition to being challenged to the hilt about finding some of these cards, I've learned so much about Americana, about pop culture, because they run from Coca-Cola to movies to TV shows to obviously the comics, Marvel and DC, and probably another 1,000 other themes.
So is there any particular theme that you collect that's like your thing? Like, do you go with the Coca-Cola ones? Do you go with like the Disney kind of promo cards, or what's your niche?
That's really interesting. My goal, which I have to say I'm very proud of having accomplished, was to get or just about accomplished. I've amassed about 99.3% of all the promo cards, or all the known promo cards between 1988 and 2008, which is really my area of concentration.
You must have an amazing collection.
There's probably about 30,000 individual different promo cards. My real niche is Marvel,
Okay.
Star Wars, and Disney. Star Wars, Star Trek. I love sci-fi, so I'd say
Oh,
they're
that's
both.
fantastic. So
And
you did get your Lion King promo card, right? You that's your unicorn. It's in your possession now. You've got it.
yeah, that's my holy grail.
There you
Exactly.
go. Okay. I had to make sure there. So all that work, but that's cool.
Quick question. By any chance, are there promo cards from other countries too for
Oh,
stuff?
absolutely. There are absolutely. Panini, who's well known for the soccer cards right now. I mean, that's like the craze for the World Cup. But Panini also has, for example, Beauty and the Beast promo cards. A lot of the manufacturers are making promo cards for certain countries. And again, each one of these has their own histories, but there are some for Australia, others for England. Obviously, the United States is the main provider of promo cards.
It is the main provider. What's the most unusual promo card you've found so far?
The one I'm the proudest of having found, other than the Lion King SB1, is something that so far no one else has seen. It is a legitimately produced Skybox Marvel Masterpieces 1995 promotional sample of a canvas chase card that was produced to be a promo card. And it says on the back, promotional sample. It's got the character Iceman on the front, and the promotional information on the product on the back. And that one, I haven't met another person that has it, so I'm sort of partial to that one.
Wow.
So is that like on your phone? You can just show everyone you come across, this is mine.
Well, actually, if you go to Blowout,
Okay.
which is a website, and if you go to my PromoKing threads, where I say PromoKing's Marvel Collection Gallery, I have a picture of that card, as well as several of the other unusual, if you will, promo cards that I've found over
Okay.
the years.
That'd be pretty
I
cool.
haven't checked that
So
out.
how do you, oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, like, so do you have a room where you display your promo cards, or do you keep them like in folders, in boxes? How do you protect promo cards?
Great question. Yeah. So right now, being that I'm in Costa Rica, there's a lot of humidity. So I have a
Oh, yeah.
dehumidifier that's running 24 hours a day, literally, to keep them as dry. They're in binders. They're each in
Okay.
penny sleeves and in 9-card sheet holders. So they've held up pretty good.
How many approximately do you think you have in your collection?
Well, in the collection itself, the individual ones, I'd say they're about 30,000.
Jeez.
That's
And I probably have another. I've acquired, I should say, a lot of individual collections over the years. So I probably have about 150,000 promo cards altogether, of which 30,000 are unique.
Are there a lot of people who really enjoy the process of collecting promo cards? It's different from like an actual set where you have a theme for your whole set of cards, but with promo cards, it's like each one is unique and looks different. So if you have 30,000 cards, that must be like I mean, I'm at a loss for words. How gorgeous
I know.
it must be to see them. I mean, you've got such a variety of, I mean, it must be incredible. Do you have any displayed on your wall? How would you display them?
Yeah, I do. As a right now, because I recently moved out of the States, I have a lot of uncut sheets that are framed,
Oh, okay.
but they're in
Oh,
storage currently, so I don't have them actually displayed. But a lot of these promo cards come in uncut sheets as well. I could talk about this for days, literally. There are also things called prototypes. Now, some people will say prototypes are also promos. Other will say, well, no, they're prototypes. They're really not promos. But,
yeah.
we kind of lump them all together, promo card collectors. I wouldn't say that there are tens of thousands of us, but I would say that there is a lot of renewed or new interest from people that like to be, again, I'm using the word challenged because, see, it doesn't matter if you have the wherewithal to purchase a promo card. I know people that have been looking literally, and I'm not kidding, for 30 years to find a
Wow.
particular card and still have not been able to put their hand on it.
Because it's in your collection, right?
Well, actually, it is. It is
There you
because
go.
I did apply. I'm literally one step away from getting the Guinness Book of World Records on owning the largest promo card.
Congratulations.
But
Wow.
they kind of threw a wrench, thank you, in it. They want me
Oh,
to take pictures of the front and the back of
Wow.
each card, which is about 60,000 pictures that they're
yeah.
asking
Oh
me
my
to upload.
goodness.
So I'm very ambivalent about whether I even want to continue with that process because the satisfaction is personal. I know what I've amassed over the years and the information that I've gathered. And what I love to do truly is to impart the knowledge that I've learned ever since the beginning, from like the probably 1989, 1990, I would say, is the first modern promo card that was issued.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Where do you
Yeah.
think, I mean, I know you did touch on the subject a little bit, but where do you think promo cards really did come from? Do you think they came from like something else previously that kind of morphed into
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Promo cards. Think of your cigarette
yeah.
and your caramels back in the 1920s and 1930s and 40s, etc., where manufacturers or products were touting and inserting cards, promotional cards
Hmm.
in their products. But it really wasn't until the late 80s, very late 80s, early 90s, that the traditional card manufacturers, the Tops, the Skybox, the Upper Decks, started to actually make a conscious effort to promote their products by producing these promo cards. Now, interestingly, this just happened. Imagine this. From a 1991 set, there was a sealed pack that was being distributed back in 1991 of G.I. Joe. Uh, the army
Cool.
guy, okay,
Yeah.
cards, and all of the promo card collectors thought that they were regular cards. So we kind of kept our sealed cello pack in that condition until someone not that long ago said, well, I opened mine and there looks to be some differences between the cards and the actual set that were released with
Wow.
the same number, the same character, versus these cards that were in the sealed packs. And sure enough, all 5 of them we've now
Jeez.
discovered
Oh,
have differences, have nuances in between themselves and their doppelgangers.
so it's kind of like
Wow.
parallel cards in a set.
Uh, you could call them parallel, but their function is different than the parallel cards. See, the parallel cards, you're going to know how many were produced. See, the challenge about the promo card and why I urge people to become promo card collectors is that they're going to have a fun time trying to unearth the harder ones to find. It doesn't mean that they're more expensive. It really doesn't. But the history behind each one, getting back to the Lion King real briefly, after the Lion King was such a hit, Skybox decided that they were going to print series 2. So they made 6 different series 2 promo cards for the Lion King 2 series that were supposed to be exclusive to Australia. Well, I can tell you, there were supposed to be 20,000. I can name on less than one hand how many people have been able to find all 6 of them.
Wow.
Nobody knows what happened to the rest. Nobody knows. This is now, we're dealing with 1994, so you can imagine how many years we're looking at, almost 30 years,
Yeah.
28
Yeah.
years, and none of these have come up. So the interesting part is knowing the provenance and trying to find out where these cards are nowadays.
That's cool. So it kind of turns you into a history buff too, huh?
Very, very much so. I've learned so much, like I said earlier, about pop culture and history, because it covers the entire gamut of the world.
I think you've just frozen there for a second. We're going to hope that you defrost. I guess well, we can hear you anyway, so that's
Yeah,
all.
I can hear.
One little question I'm thinking, because we've had a couple of people on who are history buffs as well, and there are a lot of people who are fans of, well, not fans, that's not the right word, but who are knowledgeable about World War I, World War II. And if I'm not mistaken, they did put out some kinds of cards for those things. Am I wrong?
Oh, no, absolutely. There are many sets, all the way from the Civil War. There are sets for the Civil
Wow.
War. There are sets for World War I. There are many sets for World War II, and there are many promo cards for all 3 of those wars in existence as well.
Well, very interesting. I'm just going to pause this and we'll try to get you moving again because you have completely frozen. Okay, hold on a second. So where were we? We had a little freeze there. Please, Carrie. Yeah, oh, yes, I'd asked you about promo cards concerning the world wars, and I would imagine they had cards for special events, political events, and things. Not that I want to get political, but just to say that it's not just
Something to hand out and cause attention to your cause. Yeah.
it's not just non-sports, not just sports, it's not just pop culture. I think promo cards cover a lot of different things, do they?
They absolutely do. Promo cards have been made for political candidates. They run the entire gamut of the world. I have yet to see promo cards for the Ukraine-Russian war, but I'm sure somebody is going to come up with those.
It has
And
already
if not,
happened.
you just gave them the idea. They'll be like, hey.
I'd love to see them.
It has already happened. I can tell. I believe Monster Wax released a set
Is that right?
Yes.
Really?
That's Kurt
I
Kurt
think
Steiner
they just,
from
yes, that's right.
Tallahassee, Florida.
I
Yeah,
think he just released it or is in the process of releasing it. So there's surely a promo card there somewhere, I'm sure.
yeah. And the promo card really, again, they can be totally different, and they can be the same, but with some little nuances. One of the interesting things about them is that it depends on where they're actually being released. So nowadays, back in the olden days, let me put it this way, back in the olden days, they were mostly released through one particular venue or two venues. Now you'll see promo cards, let's say numbered P1 through P8 or P9 even, and each of them will be distributed in a different manner. So again, the challenge of being able to get a particular promo card, I think the bar has gone up substantially because a lot of them are being short printed. That can be a good thing or a bad thing. To a purist promo card collector, we don't want them to be equivalent to chase cards. Okay. We want them to be available to the general public. But manufacturers have understood, and rightly so, that there's a tremendous interest now in promo card collecting. And so they're releasing them in different ways and in different quantities as well.
Aha. So yeah, it's beginning to be a
Really
bit of
cool.
a, yeah, it's getting harder and harder. Do you think you're going to continue collecting promo cards? It sounds like you're in it for the long run.
I know, really.
Yeah, well, you can see my excitement about them. I love them. I think they're fascinating little pieces of cardboard with tremendous history and value, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I've candidly, I've achieved my goal, as much as I had a very lofty goal, and that was to be able to find just about every promo card that was made between those years that I mentioned earlier. I still collect them avidly, although now that, well, I'm getting a little older, I'm thinking about starting to sell some of my collection.
Ooh, that must be
Uh,
hard to do.
I know it'd be hard to part with them. Ah,
well, I do have those 150,000 extras that I
Oh
can
my God.
rely on, The
Seriously?
actual collection itself, it's a lot harder to actually let go of some of the ones that are the individuals, the ones that only have one of.
You have
yeah.
150,000 cards?
Yes, at least I would say candidly, at
That's
least.
cool.
I'm
Wow.
speechless. Wow.
So, do they range in sizes? Like when we're doing sketch cards, typically we're what, 2.5 by 3.5. For promo cards, is there any like set size, or do they
That's the
range?
size. That's them.
That is okay.
Yeah,
So
oh yeah,
good.
90% I would say of all of the promo cards that are out there are the size of a trading card and the thickness, obviously, of a trading card. They are trading cards. But then you've got the uncut sheets, which I think, is really unique to promo card collecting, in the sense of, unless they're the full 100 card sheets of
Those
the
huge,
entire
yeah.
run. But other than that, they're 5x7s, 8x10s, and they have multiple images on them, many,
Yeah.
and some of them are just one character. Absolutely, just gorgeous, gorgeous cards.
Are the
This,
uncut sheets are the uncut sheets collectible as well? I'm sorry.
yes, it's a challenge to keep them in mint condition, because they obviously don't fit in
Yeah.
in regular 9 card sheets, but they do have full sheet card holders, and those are done separately, to keep them in tip top shape. Uh, This happens to be, I don't know if you can see this. This happens to be the prototype of my own promo card, which my dear wife sketched for me many, many years ago.
He's got some good talent.
Yeah,
Well, I will certainly tell her, but
that's beautiful.
the colored one is the one that actually is my avatar on eBay. That's this is the prototype one.
I think that's cool. And see, that's your most priceless one you've got in your collection.
It absolutely is.
Is there anything? Please go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, sometimes it takes one person to get you interested in something. Like, I had never read comic books. I didn't know they existed until I met my husband. How do you get someone into promo cards? What do you advise someone to do, to get them into this hobby and into this really expanding, wonderful hobby?
Well, I know I've used this word already 3 or 4 times. I would say, look, the most interesting part of collecting promo cards is the challenge that you will find. You'll find 80% of the promo cards that have been made, especially now that there's this book that's out there that will list, most of them. And then if you're an adventurous type, you're going to want to concentrate on trying to find the ones that are really hard. Now, you don't have to be like me. You can go ahead and say, let's just talk about Marvel for a minute. There are thousands of promo cards that have been issued for Marvel products, from Skybox to Upper Deck to Tops. I mean, there's just a lot of different promo cards for Marvel. And I would say, learn first and foremost about what people are saying exists out there, because candidly, there are not that many people, although there are more and more and more and more and more now since the 2020-2021 explosion. But there weren't that many people that could tell you, oh, this particular product has X number of promos. There's some variants in the promos. There are different colors. Some are purple, some are blue. So you're going to have to find the purple version.
There you go. Yeah.
If you already have the blue one. So that's what I would say. I would say find out as much as you can, and then determine your budget. Most of these are not expensive at all. They're under $5. Sure, they can go up to thousands, but most of them are very, very reasonably priced. Folks, let me explain one thing to you, okay? And this is my own predilection. Manufacturers have every right to make their money, and I commend them for that, because there's a tremendous resurgence of collectability, which is good for everyone that collects non-sports cards. But it's important to know that no matter how much sometimes you're willing to spend on a card, you're not going to be able to find it. So you really need to do your homework to try and find out where that card came from. For example, when I was looking for that Lion King card, the only way that I found it was I hit up a sports card dealer in Atlanta, because the Super Bowl was held in Atlanta back in that year. And I didn't hit one, I hit 50 of them. Only one of them still had a card left from that Super Bowl. So
did he know what he had?
He had no idea what he had.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
Well, you know something about these cards, a lot of people don't really still know what they have.
I'm sure. Yeah.
That's sad, because dealers should know what they're holding on to. There is really, if you're buying a product, and if it's a sketch one of one, for example, okay, from one of you ladies, that has made it to the top of the food chain, there's a range of what you're going to be selling that card for. Would you agree with me?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. The promo card, it's hard nowadays still, although it's much better, to really put your thumbprint on what this card should sell for. And I think it's the market is congealing. I liken the promo card collecting to the way that stamps and old baseball cards used to be. It was the history of that stamp or the history of that player that would make that card intriguing, or the stamp intriguing. And I believe that nowadays, given the history of the card, if you're going to become a promo card collector, that's where also you need to concentrate. But you don't have to be you don't have to collect every promo card out there. You can specialize. You can specialize in Star Wars. You can specialize in Disney or any other of the other themes.
Right.
Some of these cards are like little capsules of the time within which they were printed, in a way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well said. I totally agree with you, Ingrid.
So collecting that particular card, it can bring back memories of that era or that year or that set or that this. So it gives you a personal connection to collecting that card. What would you like to see down the road with promo cards? Would you like to see them expand into different topics, or I don't know. I can't really. Would you think they should just continue the way they're going, or should they touch different things? What do you think?
Excuse me. I think they're already covering the majority of the world and what's in it, literally.
It seems to be. I'm sorry to interrupt. That actually makes me think that it seems like trading cards and promo cards are very North American. Is that at all possible? Do they really exist in the rest of the world, or is this something that's a bit of a bubble here?
That's fascinating, because having gone to Philly many times and having spoken to many of the dealers, and specifically about expanding the promo card, I've always thought one fascinating set, here we go, would be a Bollywood promo card.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
A Bollywood set with promo card, because India has got 1 billion plus people living there, some of whom are in a decent socioeconomic group that they could afford a $5 card or $15 or $20 set. But I don't know why, but it appears that all of the manufacturers are North American. So I think there is a bias there. There was a manufacturer in England, but he's no longer manufacturing Cards Inc. Oh. He had put out some beautiful promo cards as well. And again, the products, there are so many products with promo cards in them. And those appeal to, I think, Latin America is starting to have more of an awakening as to the existence of these promo cards. I think it's all about finding out that this genre of collecting exists, and that it is an extremely fascinating area of non-sports, and it's extremely challenging as well.
Therefore, the promo cards could actually, have already, and maybe could again reach out into different items instead of just card sets. Since they
explain that for me, please.
Well, for instance, like they used to be with you used to have promo things with the boxes of tea. My mother used to get these little ceramic figurines that would come in her Salada tea way back in the day. And there were, like we mentioned, promo cards in boxes of cereal themed toys, I think, things like that. So promo cards could actually go into anything. It could even be into digital products. you
Well,
buy
they
the
do have
project.
NFTs already, absolutely.
Yes, and you
No
could maybe
question
get
about
a
it.
physical card with your NFT, and or I don't know. We're going into we're in the 21st century there, and you could get a promo card with a new laptop, for crying out loud. I mean, it could go into.
I'll
I
tell
think
you, I'll
that.
tell you something real quickly. Um, if you collect or if you own Christmas ornaments, Hallmark between 2001 and 2006 issued promo cards for each of the ornaments
Jeez.
that they were actually making. They're absolutely beautiful and they're licensed. So you see, that's important as well. I mean, sure, we're not talking here during this discussion about someone just going out and making a promo card and calling it a promo card. That's really not what we're talking about. We're talking about licensed product from hugely known companies
Yeah.
that will and do make promo cards, promotional cards. Most of them, as Jenny said, are the size of a trading card, but some of them are sometimes a little bit bigger, sometimes a little smaller. So again, the variety is interesting because it's not just the same thing over and over and over again. I got into collecting these because within 3 5 years I had hundreds and hundreds of sets. I didn't have any space left in my house to put them, so I figured, okay, and I wrote a little article about this. I said, why not collect the promo cards, let's say for Star Trek, instead of collecting each and every Star Trek set with each and every chase card and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's how I started. So when I do peruse the collection, I kind of just sit back, and just look at the pages, and they're all different. They're just all different cards instead of all being sort of the same theme, if you will, because I collect them. An interesting thing is I tried different ways of putting them or cataloging them. I have found that alphabetical is the best way
Okay.
because otherwise it's very difficult. You might have all kinds of different themes with different cards, but they're not connected except for there being the F's or the C's or the D's. So
Yeah.
that's how most
So
of us are doing it.
how organized are you? Do you have them like on a spreadsheet? Do you have I know I guess you were starting to photograph some of them, but like how do you keep track of everything that you have?
Well, I use that book, the promo card encyclopedia.
Yeah.
So from there, I check off what I don't have. I don't check what I have. I check off what I don't have, which is a nice thing. And then I have a spreadsheet with all the ones that are
Okay.
not listed in
Ah,
the
okay.
PCE 2008. And then again, if there are some that I've heard of and that I don't have, then obviously that's another type of spreadsheet. So yeah,
Cool.
if I could be as organized in my life as I am with my promo cards,
I hear you.
I would be just thrilled.
Do you see yourself,
That,
do you see yourself writing a book about your experiences collecting?
No, what I would love to do is write little articles, frankly, about the search for certain of these cards, a la Lion King SB1, for example. There's, innumerable, ladies, you have no idea, innumerable stories of cards that are just extremely elusive and why they've become elusive. I will tell you a story real briefly. And I'm going to share this publicly, but why not? Back in 1997, the movie Hercules, the animated movie, came out. And one day I was coming back from court, in my garb, but literally I was all decked out and dressed up. And I heard on the radio that Disney was doing a mall tour and that they were going to be certain events and things for the kids to participate in. Well, hey, I was the biggest kid of the mall, so I stopped at the mall that they had mentioned. And sure enough, they were giving away cards, trading cards, promotional cards for the movie. Now, the problem was that I had to participate in a game each time.
Oh no.
So it was kind of funny because all these mothers were looking at me like, who the hell is this weirdo?
I just want the
What the heck
card.
is he doing here? Because the guy, the game promoter would not give me the set, and there were 9 of them. So yours truly went around 9 times on this
That's
game
awesome.
to be able to collect each one of these little cards. And I had one of them actually signed by the artist.
Oh,
Because he was there, it was a whole display. So there are fun moments that I can relate to you about doing.
That's amazing.
yeah. That's the kind of stuff I like to hear about is those stories behind that, how you got that card, that's fascinating and really fun for me. I like those kind of things.
I have a feeling you have a lot of them as well. What is your favorite acquisition?
Yes.
Well, you had mentioned that your kind of holy grail, the card you'd gotten, but what is your favorite? What are you most proud about?
What I'm most proud about is there was a company called Collect a Card. And Collect a Card back in 1994 or 5 got the license from Coca-Cola to issue some sets. So they issued 4 different sets with all the attendant chase cards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I found out that they had also produced artist proofs for each of them, of which they made 10. Now, they were the artist proofs of the gold cards, because what happened was Collect a Card decided that the highest level of chase cards that they were going to have were gold cards, literally made of 1 gram of pure gold.
Wow.
So you could find them in individual boxes. It was literally looking for treasure. So I went heavy into that. And then I found out that they actually had made the artist proofs, which had been given away to some of the big shots, of the industry, et cetera. So of the 4, I was able to find 3 of the of the 4 series, if you will, each of which were 10. I was able to find 3. So those are some of my
It must have been beautiful cards. I mean,
they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. I also have them on blowout in my PromoKing card collection in general, because I divided it between the Disney cards, the Marvel cards, the Star Wars cards, and the general collection card. And I keep listing stuff there just to kind of show people what's out there, what's available, and what's been made.
I'll try to remember to find the link for that to put in the show notes so that maybe people can go and visit that thread.
For sure. So what is your card? What is your rosebud? What is the card you are on the hunt for now? What is the card that you will finally have in your collection? You'll be like, I'm good. I'm happy.
Awesome question. There's a Speed Racer.
Oh, okay.
P3 that was supposed to be a mail away card. So in other words, if you sent in enough of the wrappers and a couple of bucks, I think it was, to a company called Lime Rock, then they would go ahead and send you the P3. When I found out that it existed, the promotion was over, and I only know of one person who actually had
Oh,
a card.
No
Nobody
way.
knows where the rest of them have gone. Maybe
that's
to
crazy.
promo card heaven. Who knows?
I loved Speed Racer. Good times. Those were good
Do
animations.
you?
I did. I don't know why. That was like after school things. That was one of the things that we watched. So I hope you find some of those cards because that's cool. Really cool.
Yes, I'm always on the hunt, as they say, you know.
Cool,
Um,
cool.
we're going to slowly head this one out the door as we've pretty much hit the acceptable time. Um, what words of wisdom would you like to pass on to budding collectors or people who are like, what is it with promo cards?
Sure. If you like a challenge, this is the most challenging area of non-sport card collecting that exists, hands down.
Is the community around it friendly?
Repeat, please.
Is the community around the general people that tend to collect promo cards, are they a friendly bunch? Is it a very
Are you welcomed in? Is it
yeah.
easy to break in? Yeah.
Yes, of course. As a matter of fact, every couple of months, I have a Zoom meeting that I started, I guess, about 2 years ago. From the information is listed on the Non-Sport Update Card Talk forum, and we get together every couple of months. It's a bunch of very friendly people. Here's what I love about it. We have people from the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, England, and myself, currently located in Central America. So literally, it's very difficult to coordinate all the different time zones. But other than that, it's a lot of fun, and I encourage everyone who's listening to come and join us. We don't bite, and you see, the problem, truly, the problem is that a lot of people are very intimidated because they just don't know about promo cards, and they're concerned that their knowledge is insufficient to even participate. But that's how we all learn. We didn't just come in and say, well, we know everything about promo cards. The people in the know, if you will, we help each other. We help each other learn about what's out there, and where we were able to find a certain product. Many times there are artists that we the collective, the promo card collective, have written to, and they've been super nice about providing some promo cards that have been dubbed elusive in the past. So I would definitely say try to join us anytime you want during our next meeting. It should be a lot of fun.
Well, if you can send me the link to that, I'll include it as well with the other things in the show notes. Maybe someone will drop in. Do you also collect, one thing I wanted to ask, do you collect promo cards from smaller companies as well, or do you just prefer the more well-known products? And
personally, if it came in a product, if it was manufactured to promote either a card set or a product that was inserted in a magazine, I will collect it. I'm very much into the whole, if it promotes something, then I want it.
okay. Well,
cool. That sounds good.
I'd like to thank you so much for joining us, Albert. I would like very much to have you back on as well in the future. I'm feeling there are a lot of stories that you could tell us.
I love the stories, and I'd love to come back. It'd be an honor.
Oh,
yay.
Well, you are, consider yourself re-invited. All right. Thank you so much. And I encourage everyone to look at the show notes. I'll have dropped all the links that I can find in those notes. So check everything out. Jenny, thank you for joining me too.
Absolutely. Albert, it was great to meet you. And it was really fascinating for me. So I learned a lot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. My pleasure, Jenny.
Jenny, are you going to start collecting?
I'm kind of interested in it. I want to go see what his collection on the webpage looks like, especially the gold cards. So yeah, I collect a lot of things. That's what I need is one more thing to start collecting because I'll do it.
I'd love to have you join us.
Thank you. I think I will. So,
All right. Thank you very much. We'll see everybody next time.
sounds good.